Reclaim the district, blending with the existing, repurposing obsolescence. In Brussels, a controversial concentration of high-rise buildings make up today's North Quarter, consisting of the financial district and the residential commercial area, a disrupted urban tissue separated by the railways of the North Station. It all started in the 1930s, when the concept of creating a financial district was being considered, but it wasn't until 1962 that the first Manhattan Plan was proposed, offering 8 skyscrapers that would make up the new financial district of Brussels. Shortly after, in 1964, the demolition of many homes in the area started, evicting approximately 15,000 people without the possibility of relocation. Since then until today, the district has been continuously filled with obsolete towers, the latest one being the Iris Tower. Built regardless of the needs of its users and other present social issues in the area, it has been considered obsolete before it was even finished. Yet interesting enough, we find it on the other side of the railways, connected to a famous commercial place, the Brabant Street. It's not only mostly commercial, but a very busy street, located in one of the most diverse municipalities of Brussels, where 40% of its residents are of foreign origins. Such residents mostly come from Northern Africa, the Middle East, and Turkey, making the Brabant Street one of the most diverse places in the city, attracting thousands of visitors every single year, coming from different parts of Europe. And here, many can find their favorite products from their home countries and even speak their own language. But what do the users say about this area? We conducted a couple of surveys along with my groupmates Sasha and Lucy in the Brabant Street. While some users enjoy many positive aspects of the street and wouldn't change a thing, there were also many that mentioned feeling unsafe at times. But why unsafe? Let's analyze the street in order to determine if it can be considered as unsafe or not. The first 2 factors of a safe street are appropriate level of activity, glass shopping windows, and good lighting in the street, which we do find. Now, thanks to the houses along the street, we can count with natural surveillance. We find also very well-defined routes and enough parking spaces. So where is the unsafety coming from? We have a constant activity in the Brabant Street. Now, what about the neighbor one, the Aarschot Street? We find it facing the North Station of Brussels, but unlike Brabant Street, this is not filled with shops and movement, but is actually where an uncontrolled and uncondensed district takes place. The Brussels Red Light District. The red district of the city has occupied this street even before World War I, attracting unwanted crowds, human trafficking networks, and violent disputes. The police constantly circulates this area in order to keep things under control, yet the feeling of unsafety has already taken over, making both residents and commuters of the station very uncomfortable. Until today, it remains a neglected street. A better example in Belgium of an organized red district is Villa Tinto in Antwerp, and here the activities have been concentrated into 3 streets, allowing it to work in a much better way than in Brussels, offering an on-site police station and constant control of the workers. According to Thrillist.com, it is considered the cleanest and safest red district in the world. Now, how do we reclaim the district? I started with action layers. The first one was brainstorming for ways to relate to the commercial Brabant Street and how to tackle the current issue of unsafety. Following was the proposal of an architectural intervention that would bring back the 2 streets together and finalize in the Iris Tower. Then, the intervention would also bring the community together by empowering them to share their cultures with others. Then, spread the word. Tourists visiting the Brabant Street will now also be interested in discovering the new things that the district has to offer and tell it to their friends. A place for diversity is the last step. where the obsolete Iris Tower will now welcome an immigrant center where people can share their stories. But how? If the red district in the Arhot Street seems to be the root of unsafety, why not move it into the Iris Tower? In this way, the street gets an opportunity to be revitalized and reconnected once again to the commercial Brabant Street. The placement of the red district can be a future consideration. However, a proposal of an immigrant center where users can share their stories can be the first step into making the building more welcoming. In order to achieve that, I decided to create modules that can take up different functions, but at the same time connect with the commercial character of the Brabant Street. These stackable modules will be placed along the railway wall of the Aarschot Street, connecting through balconies that would allow inner and outer circulation flow. Some modules can be opened up and left as open spaces that can be used for outdoor markets and other activities. Both levels would be connected through ramps and stairs, allowing a more dynamic streetscape to take place. Now, what are they made of? All modules are made of prefabricated timber, giving a warm touch to the street. They are also easily stackable and can be placed in different ways thanks to their rectangular shape. And lastly, they can be easily transported into the site and placed by cranes. The facade of the modules has an important aspect to it, representing the weaving of cultures through its wooden detailing, a pattern that will unite the project as a whole and weave it together. When it comes to the structure of the balconies, they will count with an outrigger beam that will be supported by a metal cable in order to provide a better support. Now, let's weave the project with modules. The starting point takes place at the end of the Aarschot Street, blending back with the Brabant Street, connecting to its commercial character. An old building belonging to the railway company will adapt some functions in its front facade. And finally, we reach the Iris Tower, placing some modules in front of it in order to overshadow its unwelcoming glass facade. These modules will adapt to the colors of a nearby street art. The modules start creating a dynamic streetscape in what was a blind wall of the station. Some of them even float above the traffic and connect with bridges. Finally, the Brussels Immigrant Center takes place on the first floor and the first mezzanines of the tower, adapting to its existing inside space. Here are some of the before and after images, now with the finished project. And last but not least, let's take a walk in the district.